Oh, hey, startled me there. Caught me red handed. My hand in a cookie jar. Or should I say in the empanadas? That's right, you read it right. We're going to learn how to make empanadillas my way. So sit back, relax, and let me walk you through the process of making empanadillas. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Okay, so here we have our boneless, skinless tenders. Now, you can definitely make these empanadas or empanadillas with chicken breast, but I just did it this way because it's a lot smaller cut. It'll cook a lot faster. So we're gonna go ahead and move into it. So the first thing we're gonna do is use some olive oil. We're gonna put a little bit of olive oil in there. And then our next step is gonna be for acidity. This lime, what it's gonna do is it's gonna tenderize your meat for you. So we're just gonna squeeze all the juice out of a half of a lime, and all these ingredients are going to be depending on how much meat, the weight of all the meat is. If you got 2 pounds, 3 pounds, whatever your chicken breast or whatever this is, this happens to be a pound and a half. So this is the ingredient measurement that I'm using here. So we got all that out of that lime. Our next step is to go ahead and we're going to take, of course, again, sofrito. You gotta have it. And we're going to use a tablespoon of sofrito, that fresh sofrito. So you could always use more if you want to, but never use less, in my opinion. And then the next step, what we're going to do is come in here, and what we're going to do, we're going to take a tablespoon of tomato sauce. So we're going to put that in there with that. And then what we're going to do, incorporate some black pepper. That's to your liking. So this right here was about a teaspoon and a half. Then, of course, a half of packet of sazon. And the reason for a half a packet is because you don't want your chicken to be orange unless you want it to be. And then we'll come in here with this Larry's Total Seasoning, which this has everything you need in it, oregano and everything that you want to have. So we're going to take that. This is right here is about a teaspoon and a half right there of that. And so and the reason I have this one here, because if you have a seasoning that does not have oregano in it, go ahead and put you about a teaspoon of oregano in there. We're not going to use it in here because we already have it, but I was just showing that, for demonstration purposes. And then what we're going to do, we're going to come in here and we're going to mix this all together now. We're going to mix this all up. We're going to get this all incorporated and let it sit for just a minute. Okay, so here we are at our next step. We have our pan here, well, our pot, I should say. Sorry. We're going to put a little bit of olive oil in here in our pan that's already nice and warm. And then what we're going to do, even though our sofrito has onions in it and bell peppers in there, we're going to go ahead and we're going to put some in here. You can put as little or as much as you like in here. All this is going to do is add to that flavor, and I'm all about that flavor profile. So that's what we're going to do here. And what we're going to do, we're going to cook these down until they're nice and soft. So we're just going to, stir that around, and we're going to cook these down so they're nice and soft. Okay, so now what we're going to do, we got those, nice and tender. We got them broken down. We're going to come in here with our chicken. Now, with this chicken, typically people, they either boil their chicken first and then come back later and do all this flavoring and all that good stuff. But we're not going to do that. This method that I'm going to do, we're not boiling, we're not doing anything. What we're going to do is pretty much come in here and we're going to braise this chicken. We're going to mix this around together and let this chicken cook a little bit, and then let all these seasonings come together with one another in this pot. And we're going to stir this around probably about a minute or two, and we're going to go on from there to the next step. Okay, as you can see, our chicken, is partially done. So what we're going to do now, we're going to come in here and we're going to take that same bowl that we had all those seasonings in, and we're going to mix that in there. And because we want that water, to be in here with it, but we want it to be covered about 3/4 of the way of this chicken. So you might have to put a little bit more in there with your chicken to, get it covered 3/4 of the way. And the other thing is to just enhance the flavor in it a little bit. You want to go ahead and drop your chicken bouillon in there and let that cook in there with it. And we'll go ahead and break that up. But we want to get this chicken, cooked 3/4 of the way. Being that it is, cooked 3/4 of the way. Now we want to cook it some more, and we're going to let this cook down for about 20 to 25 minutes, and we're going to come back and check on it. And before that, another thing I almost forgot to mention was that we need to go ahead and put 1 bay leaf in there, and that's going to bring out so many other flavors in this for you. So we're going to go ahead and let that cook down. Okay, so it's been about 25 minutes, and as you can see, a bunch of that liquid has been absorbed into the chicken. So now what we want to do, as you can see here, is just pull it apart easy, nice and tender. And so what we want to do, we want to shred this down, even more. So we want to get this nice and shredded and stuff. And we want more of this liquid to be absorbed, because when we're making our empanadillas, we don't want so much liquid that when we go to put it together that, it just is coming out of everywhere. We want it to be juicy and flavorful, but we don't want it to be to a point where it's just, coming out of everywhere, because then it's just not going to fry good, in my opinion. So we're going to let this here pretty much cook down some more, just enough to get some more of this liquid out. And like I said, we're just going to keep pulling this apart here. Okay, so here comes my favorite part. We're going to start building our empanadillas. So here I have these Goya. They're 5-inch disc. They have bigger ones, but at my particular Publix, this is the one they have. So this is the one I have to go with. So, and it's also my favorite part because it's almost getting ready time to eat. So what we're going to go ahead and we're going to get ready to assemble. As you can see, they have this wax paper between them when they're in the packaging to keep them from sticking. So what I normally do and typically do is just come here, and you're going to need a fork. I just come here, and I like to make sure, I'm not jipping anybody on the meat, And what we're going to do, it comes in a pack of 10, as we're going to assemble these things. And then we'll take our fork here in a minute. I'm going to show you what we're going to do. I just like to build them first, and then go back and close them all. And as you can see, the chicken is still juicy. And, the liquid's not running everywhere out on them or anything like that, because you can put too much water sometime in there when you're letting it cook, and it's just way too much. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to use all the chicken I have, in the pot that we cooked with the rest of the shells that I have. Don't worry, I'm not jipping anybody. Okay, our next step, let me show you. Here's my fork. It's as simple as this. Take it, fold it over, just like that. That's all you have to do. Let's make sure that in my opinion, I'm a perfectionist, so I like to try to make sure that everything is even here. And sometimes when these things are starting to get down to room temperature, they like to get a little sticky. That's fine. You take a little bit of water on your finger, and what you want to do is just do that, and it'll stop it. And so then all you do is just come here and then you press them down, just like that. And you do it on both sides. You don't want to just do it on one side. It'll be a bad day for you. You see how we got some, it's still juicy and still got some of that juice running out of there. So, there you go. There you have it. And so this is what you do. You just go down the assembly line and you just make them. And that is how we make empanadas. Beautiful, golden, flavorful. So let's take a dive into it. As you can see, beautifulness. You see that right there? Just juicy and moist. It's nothing like them. And again, thank you for joining. Thank you for coming to my kitchen. Don't forget, like and subscribe. Also, the biggest thing never to forget, hug your loved ones, tell them you love them. Until next time, peace.